Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is the 14th game in the FIDE World Chess Classical game between Dean Liren and Gukesh. This is the 14th game here, and Dean Liren is playing the white pieces. Gukesh is playing the black pieces. The score from game 1 to game 13 has been 6.5, 6.5 for the two parties. Now Ding is playing white. Let's see what he has prepared for this particular game. This is the 14th game, the last game in the classical series for their match. After this 14th game, if it ends in a draw, they'll go to tiebreaker with other time format. So let's enjoy the beauty this game has to offer. Ding Liren choose to play knight to f3. Knight to f3 um, has been played. Now d5 comes up. G3, c5, bishop to g2. Now we have knight to c6. After pawn push to the center to d4, e6. Here we have castling. Pawn takes, knight takes. We have knight moves to e7. Pawn push to c4, knight takes, queen takes. Knight attacks the queen by going to c6. What to do? Queen goes back. We have pawn push, taking spaces and declining taking this pawn on c4. Pawn push to e3, we have bishop. Pawn takes, bishop takes, knight goes to c3. Gukesh castles, then we have knight hopping. Now, the idea with knight to b5, I looked this up. I was like, why? There's a possibility of maybe an inferior move by maybe, I don't know how to put it. Sometimes this might not go well for players. It might not go as planned and something else will happen. Let's take, for example, this move is possible, right? Yeah, that is possible. So let's just play something inferior. Let's look at this move first. Do you know bishop takes knight is coming? Pawn takes, knight takes. And that is taking a full piece in this particular position. So with knowledge of this threat coming up on this board, what do you think is the best move? The best move was played by Gukesh, playing black. He played bishop to b6, removing that bishop, opening up for queen takes queen. Well, Ding did not take the queen. He chose to wait a little by chasing out the knight. Now bishop came back. Bishop defends the knight. Pawn cements the bishop in the center. Now we have queen. Then this series of move. Then we see another tactical idea. Let me show you something. In this position, the knight can comfortably stay on d5 because it is defended by the bishop on g2 and the pawn on c4. Take note, we have more defenders than attackers. Sure, you get it. That is why that knight can stay there. Now, this was what made Gukesh play this move, try to reduce the defender of the knight to gain material. Okay, so we have pawn takes. Why pawn takes? Pawn takes comfortably because the pawn takes on b5 creates a new threat to capture the knight to equalize the material. Look at this variation. If bishop takes, bishop can take first, or there is this one, then bishop takes. This will now happen. This variation is not solid like that, but we're going to look at this first. Bishop takes. Let's say bishop takes, queen takes. This will happen. Well, with the two variations, you have seen what happened there. If this happens, then materials just go down in that position. These are Grandmaster's idea. When I saw this variation, I was like, wow. That's why they spend longer time thinking on the board. Just look at time. Look at the time for Ding Liren. 48 minutes, 16 seconds, perhaps. Then for Gukesh, we have 1 hour, 14 minutes, 23 seconds. As at this position. So they take time to think so that they can get something valid out of a position. So pawn takes pawn on b5 is also a move that can be considered when playing your own in case you have similar position. Now, in this case, pawn takes the pawn instead. Now leaving this knight with just one defender, the um which is the bishop. Queen is attacking, bishop is attacking. What do? The knight is out of good squares. You cannot consider this. You cannot say this is a move because once knight takes, queen takes, you have removed the defender of the bishop here. What is your decision here? What do? Diniren is in a tight corner. He needs to find something cool ASAP. Then he found this move, knight to f4. Knight to f4 in turn, opens an attack on the knight on c6. Keeps the knight here in the sense that if Gukesh chooses to save the knight or defend the knight, right, he can simply trade pieces and double up pawn and spoil the pawn structure. This will happen. It's possible. And it's another problem too. See, stacked up pawns. So what we saw in the game instead was this. Pawn takes the knight first, going for this pawn structure, allowing bishop takes, taking the rook, taking the knight and attacking the rook with tempo. Bishop takes bishop, queen takes. Now rook step aside to defend the pawn. Rook attacks the queen. Then after the queen goes to safety with an intention to first of all capture the bishop and pin the pawn to the king. Here bishop needs to be saved. Bishop goes home for safety. Pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn. This is where Gukesh snatched one extra pawn. No, not yet. It's not here yet because the pawns are still okay. If you look at the pawn numbers, that's still good. So we have this. Then this happened. I think it's here. This is where Gukesh snatched one extra pawn, and at the moment, Diniren is down on time. 23 minutes 39 seconds. Over against 1 hour. Do you know what is going on here? A lot of pressure will start sinking in. So queen are off the board, rooks are off the board. We have this. Now, to my understanding, this kind of positions are seemingly positions with low chances of winning for the both players. In as much as black has an extra pawn, it's not easy to convert this to a win because they have the same number of bishops. We have the rook and the rook. Then how is this pawn coming down? It's going to find it difficult to convert. So automatically, with the players watching this at a then live before I made this recording, we're expecting this game to end in a draw. However, after rook to d8, attacking the bishop, bishop goes to b7, king to j5, we have pawn push. Now, pawn comes down to defend the pawn. Pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn. You see, drawish position. Rook moves, here bishop comes in. King moves, we have check. King goes back to g1, then king moves. Check, king moves, then we have this. With this concept, it is obviously clear that the moves are going to be repeated until this moment where Diniren blunders. To an understanding, a regular chess player who has not attained a certain level will not understand why f2, rook to f2 is a blunder in this position. That's why I'm going to take my time here to try to explain it to you with the following moves. You see, rook to f2 is a blunder because the bishop is on a8. If the bishop was on somewhere around this square, maybe here, it will still find time to move around this diagonal, then keep eye on the diagonal. But the blunder part of the move on rook to f2 is that take the rook is the best option. King takes, then this is the star move of the position. Bishop to d5. How did you say this? This is the star move. So bishop has to take. King takes. In this position here, Ding Liren played king to e3, king to e5, then he resigned. Almost 58. Ding Liren with the white piece resigned this position, which made Gukesh to win the game. The point was 6.5 against 6.5. Now, because Gukesh won this, he has 7.5, 1 point. This is the game that made Gukesh win the FIDE World Chess Championship, the 18th time. So he's the 18th World Chess Champion from India at age 18 because of this game, because of this blunder from Ding Liren. Ding Liren actually played well. He tried. It's just a game. Anything can happen. So let's check out continuations that might happen in the game. Possible continuation. You see, in this position here, the king has to move. If the king moves to the square like this, you see, I'm going to show you this one variation and I'm going to make it quick. This is the move that works, f4. After f4, pawn takes, king takes, shouldering this king out of this square, g1. The king has been shouldered out. So king comes, just take squares. You know, you gain the opposition by keeping a nice distance with your shouldering. King comes, you take more squares, and this king controls the key square in this position meant for the pawn to land and become a queen. And you know what happens if you have a queen and a king versus a king? You need to go and study if you don't know what happens. You need to be flogged if you cannot do this. So we come back to a position like this, then look at one more variation. Let's say we have a variation where the king did not go to d3, instead the king comes back. You get it? Now, something you need to know about chess is this. You need to understand when you are winning and when you are losing. What do you think can happen here? I'm going to leave this position to a study. Put it in the comment section. What will happen in this position? What is the best continuation here for black? How can black win here? Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next videos on this channel. Thank you.